Hello, folks. Officer Kelleher, Merrimack PD, back again for another month of MPD community updates. Today's going to be a special segment. I got some awesome guests with me. SRO Mike Murray and ACO Haley Galino. Thank you guys for coming. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
And all these folks appreciate it too. March 1st. What do you think about that?
It's nice and warm out.
Exciting, huh?
It's my daughter's birthday.
Happy
birthday.
Wow. So with spring, we can officially call it spring, I think. Close enough. We have, it's kind of the start of our busy season, if you want to say that, in many facets of what we do. SRO Murray, as you know, has been up to high school for many years, and you know this is kind of kicking off your busy season, Mike. You know, with preparations for all the prom and the athletics and all that good stuff. Graduation will be right around the corner. We're going to talk with Haley about some of the spring issues that always come up. So first I just want to ask Mike. Mike, we see something new on your face over there. Would you like to tell the folks what that's all about?
So we're growing beards for Special Olympics. The police chief has allowed us to grow beards as long as we pay a pseudo $100 fine. She collects the fine money, $100 per guy, and it's to violate the facial hair policy. And then she turns around and donates that money directly to Special Olympics. So if 20 guys grow beards, it's $2,000 to Special Olympics. So it's a very low overhead fundraiser for Special Olympics, and created by the beloved Captain Brian LeVake, and he termed our little program called Donate to Insulate. So that's the beard deal.
And what do we have coming up that a bunch of you guys will be jumping into a nice cold pool?
Yes, so the beard program runs from February 1st to the date of the Winnie Dip. This year is March 10th for the adults and March 11th for the school kids. So we go up to the Margate in Laconia, and the spectators, some of them come across the lake on snowmobiles and sit on the edge of the open water, and we jump into 38 to 40 degree water for Special Olympics. It's one of their major fundraisers for the year. We have to raise a certain amount of money to jump in. It's open to the public. Trying to draft more high school kids to do the high school version on Sunday. Yeah, it's a good time.
So this is open to the public. Anybody can show up and cheer you guys on.
Right, if they go onto the website for Special Olympics, sonh.org, it should be all the information there they need to sign up.
And they can make donations if they choose to.
Yeah, they could pick they could go on the website and pick their favorite policeman and help them in their fundraising cause.
Awesome. You know that website?
It's SONH, Special Olympics New Hampshire.org. SONH.org.
Great. So, what are you going to be doing? Is it next week?
So, the Special Olympics also have their Winter Games this weekend. Starts Sunday afternoon with opening ceremonies up at Waterville Valley, and the games will go Monday and Tuesday. We'll be up there doing awards. 4 or 5 of us will be handing out awards to the athletes and helping out as needed, up to and including serving the athletes and their families dinner on one of the nights. It's a lot of fun, and Waterville PD is a very gracious host, and yeah, if you want, you can actually, if you wanted to, you can actually go up and volunteer if you'd like to. I'll go on that same website and they're always looking for help for the different events.
So, folks, if you are interested and you have time, maybe you're retired. There's always opportunities for volunteers. Mike, does Merrimack have a Special Olympics team, or are they part of a regional team?
Here is the website.
sonh.org.
Yes.
So does Merrimack have their own team?
Yes, the Merrimack Friars compete, the Reeds Ferry Tigers, and some Merrimack athletes actually compete on the Nashua team, Nashua Pride.
So we have quite a few members, community members that participate in the Special Olympics.
Yep, there's other events too. I'm actually a unified golf partner with a Merrimack athlete, so we golf 5 qualifying rounds and then a state tournament during the summer. So there's a lot of different ways to get involved with Special Olympics. Golf, bowling, floor hockey, all the winter and summer games. Bowling is fall games in the fall, obviously. It's almost like a 10-month-a-year opportunity to get involved.
That's awesome. And as having a niece that has Down syndrome who participates in, the Special Olympics, I can personally tell you there's nothing better than going up there and, putting a medal around her neck. I get more out of it than she does, I think. So very humbling. They look at us like, we're something special, but, they're the true meaning of Special Olympics. So
yeah, I've been involved a long time. I've always called it the best police therapy there is, because a lot of times as policemen we deal with the darker side of life, and those kids think we walk on water, and it's really a great thing. Like it a lot.
all right, so Haley,
Yes.
spring is coming.
Spring's coming.
I think one of the most interesting animals we have in the region, I think they're starting to come out of their little 4-month
Their nap.
sleeping nap. Can you just tell the folks what kind of issues arise, this time of year?
Okay, so this time of year is pretty much the time of year when the bears are going to start coming back out, is what you're referring to.
Oh, we have bears
We
in
do.
Merrimack?
We have lots of bears in Merrimack.
Oh.
And just like with any other wild animal, we just encourage people to stay away from them. We try to encourage people as around the time of April 1st until the winter time, if you have bird feeders, to keep them inside, not put them out during that time of year, even though people like to put them out this time of year because that's when the birds are out too. But that does attract them, so if you do have bird feeders in your yard, that you're going to expect that you're going to attract a bear. If you do see one, there is one in your backyard, we just tell people to stay away from them, and they can give us a call. There's not really much we can do about them, but they're not going to really be a danger to you if you stay away from them.
But, if people don't adhere to the, putting away their bird feeders, if you love animals and, they're putting the bears in a bad situation, aren't they?
They are, because then people are going to think that the bear is endangering them or is coming after them, when in fact they're just trying to get the food. So it might put the bear in a bad situation where we may have to do something or call in Fish and Game to do something to the animal so that it doesn't endanger humans. So it does put the bears in a bad situation. We like to try and keep them in the woods and away from the homes.
Yeah, so if you really love wildlife and, please, the warnings out there, not for your warning, it's to help the animals.
Right.
They live with us, and we kind of taken over their territory. So
Right.
Try to do your best to adhere to the rules, and everybody will be all right.
Yeah, we do have some people that do intentionally put out food too to try and feed them because they think they're helping them. Same with deer. It does not help them. It actually does quite the opposite, because then once that food is not provided for them, they can't learn on their own to get food in the wild. So it's best to not be feeding the wild animals and let them fend for themselves in the wild.
And I know, speaking with some fish and game officials, they do not appreciate folks that do that.
No.
Because obviously they're there to protect the wildlife.
Exactly.
And that potentially could get yourself in trouble
With fish and game. Exactly.
I don't think anybody wants to do that. They take it very serious, and as you can see, they have their own TV show, and they try to educate people who don't understand. So what else is a very important topic coming up?
Very
in the
important
spring?
this time of year. So we're reaching the dog licensing time of year. So everyone that does have a dog that's 4 months of older has to have their dogs vaccinated for rabies vaccination, which is obviously a very deadly disease, and can be spread very easily from animal to animal or animal to human. So we do require that everyone has their animals vaccinated and keeps their vaccinations up to date every year. And with that vaccination goes having their dog licensed through the town, so that we can keep track of who in town does have animals, dogs primarily.
Now, why is that important? People say, well, my dog stays in the house. I don't need to get it registered. Can you just explain?
Yeah, one of the importance obviously is, like we just talked about, rabies. So we can keep control over that, and we know what dogs are vaccinated and what dogs are not vaccinated. So when someone brings their dog to the vet and has their rabies vaccination done, that vet is required by law to send a copy of that rabies vaccination to the town hall in the town where the dog resides. And then the ACO is then notified that that person has a dog that's living in that house. And that's how we track them. And then that dog has to be licensed, so that, one, we can keep track of vaccinations, and two, we keep track in town of how many animals that we do have. If, for example, your dog were, you may keep your dog in and your dog never goes outside, but if your dog were to get out of the house and come in contact with a wild animal, that it could get bit by it and get a disease from that wild animal. Even if the dog were just to run away from home, we require that the dog license is worn on the dog at all times, so that if I were to find a dog on the street, I can immediately bring the dog back to the owner, which is a lot less stressful for the dog, because if we find a dog that is not licensed, the dog has to go to Animal Rescue League in Bedford, and it's held there, and a fine is charged to the pet owner, as well as the cost that it is for the Animal Rescue League to keep the dog there. So it avoids a lot of that stuff by just simply paying $7.50 and having your dog licensed every year.
So, folks, you heard it right from the ACO. Please, it's really important to get your dog. I mean, again, people
Simple
love
thing.
their animals, right? You're not really doing the correct thing if you're not getting your dog the rabies shot.
Yeah, pretty simple, especially in a town like Merrimack. You go to town hall to register your car every year. At the same time, you register your dog. You get it all done at one time. The registration has to be done by May 1st for the dog licensing, and it expires on April 30th of the next year, so it's good for 1 year. Like I said, it's a small cost to track all the animals and keep them safe. And this year we're actually starting a new program. We're doing photos of the dogs, which was an idea brought out by the chief this year. She had thought it would be a great idea and so much easier for us to keep track of animals, so that if I were to find a dog on the street and I have a picture of that dog matching that dog license number, then I can tell whose dog it is, what their name is, where they belong. So this year we're asking people, when they do register their dog, whether it's in person to the town hall, they give them a photo of their dog, an updated photo. Town hall will then put the dog's information on that photo for me, give it to me, and then I'll be keeping track of that in my office. I'll be keeping a record of it in my office. If you register online, you can send in a photo online. You can send it directly to my email at the police department, which is hgalino@merrimacknh.gov. Then I can print out that picture and put it in the book so that I can keep track.
That's awesome.
I thought of a question, but I thought I'd write it down.
Oh, Mike has a great question.
I
So
didn't want to ask it out loud. I thought I'd write it.
you can ask. Okay, so if you do have a dog that has recently passed, then You don't have to register your dog.
Should they notify anybody?
They should notify Town Hall to let Town Hall know, because if Town Hall has record of you having a dog from the past year and you don't register your dog this year, for example, if it was because the dog passed, you will get a notice in the mail saying that you need to register your dog. And if you don't do so, or if you don't notify us that the dog has passed, then we issue fines for not registering your dog. So to avoid the fine being issued, you notify Town Hall.
Unfortunate reminder again that your dog is passed.
Exactly. We want to avoid upsetting people and reminding them that the dog is no longer around.
So folks, if you want to follow the rules and, make things easy on everybody, because that's the last thing we want to do and need to do is, go out and chase people for dog license fees. And, so if we could get 100% compliance, it would make things so much easier and safer for your animal and, and everything you just explained. Don't think when your dog gets loose that, it's going to get its fame on Facebook with the mugshot.
The only dogs that make it to Facebook are the dogs that don't have a dog license on.
The
because
violators.
I can't track them.
They are violators.
Correct. They violate the rules.
They were loose
in order to
at large.
And in order to find their owner, they have to be posted on Facebook, and then everyone knows that your dog went missing.
Yeah, nobody wants to see the dog go to doggy jail.
No.
The police don't really get any enjoyment out of that.
No.
No. So, please, listen to Haley's advice. I'm sure everybody in town goes by Town Hall. Just zip in and, register them. And, if people didn't know, if they go to the vets and, get the rabies shot, they automatically,
we know that
by
you
law,
have
have to send them to the Town Hall. So, we know. The only thing we don't know, like Mike said, is,
if the dog
unfortunately, if your dog passes, it would be, helpful if you, again, just let, you can even call. Just call, Town Hall and just let them know, and then they, take you off the list.
And like I said too, especially with rabies, it makes it a lot easier for people if we say, for instance, had someone who got bit by a dog, and the person who got bit did not know if the dog that bit them was up to date on the rabies shot.
Yeah.
If I can't confirm for that person that dog is up to date on their rabies shot, then that person now has to go through a series of rabies shots and vaccinations from their doctor, which is very painful and a very lengthy process, and could have been avoided if we knew definitely whether or not that dog was up to date on their shots. So that becomes a huge issue.
So speaking of that, I was going to ask you about, now that we have a dog park in Merrimack, I know there was an incident last week. Can you just refresh people who are dog owners and go there, like, what their responsibilities are?
Yep. So there are signs there that tell you what you do have to have up to date, all your vaccinations, all those kinds of things. Just like if you were going to take your dog to a doggy daycare or have them boarded, the dogs do need to be up to date on all their vaccinations, and it's a safety reason so that they don't infect other dogs if they were to bite them. As we know, you have a park with several dogs in them. It's like small children on a playground. They're not all going to get along, so there may be some that aren't nice with each other. With that said, they do ask that aggressive dogs are not brought there. So if you do think your dog is dog aggressive, then it may not be the place for your dog to go and play. Or maybe a weekday might be a better day to go when there's not as many people there. There is 2 sides to the park, so there can be 20 dogs in one side, and if your dog doesn't get along, then they can go over to the other side if need be, if it's not a busy time.
That's not a place where you want to, keep forcing socialization of dogs.
There's just people in there with their dogs, because you have to be with your dog at all times. So there's the possibility of people getting bit. There's the possibility of other dogs getting bit. So you need to stay on top of it and control your own animal, just like you would your kid if you brought them somewhere.
Very good. Thank you. That's all great advice. I hope everybody listened. I want to go back to Officer Murray. We have an exciting event coming up other than the Special Olympics, but on, what's the date? March 31st. Can you tell the folks what's going to happen?
So March 31st, we have the Golden Skate hockey game where the Merrimack Police take on the Merrimack High School varsity hockey team for a little grudge game. I should have brought the trophy. We actually have a hockey skate with this tall, spray painted gold. It's on a little plaque, and whoever wins the hockey games gets to keep the skate and the bragging rights for the year. So right now that skate is held by the police. We're actually able to beat the kids.
Oh, that's at the police station?
Yep.
Oh, the winners.
Yes. We've had a 2-year, year and a half, 2-year moratorium on the game. Not sure why that happened, but the game is actually, I'd say in its 15th year or so, going back and forth. The game this year is at Conway Arena in Nashua, March 31st at 3 in the afternoon. I believe admission is $3. All proceeds go to the Special Olympics. It's a historical game. Actually, Merrimack's own Tim Schaller, now playing for the Boston Bruins, actually skated in a Golden Skate game, and not surprising that the kids won that year.
I remember that.
Timmy was actually nice enough to come back in years after that, and was our referee when he was committed to other teams and couldn't play for the high school. Timmy came back and volunteered to be a referee. So great guy, and best of luck to Timmy with his rest of his season this year.
Awesome. So on the hockey topic, we do not have any Merrimack police officers playing in this charity game, but I was informed yesterday that Merrimack Fire Department has a member of the fire department that's going to be playing. This is the Chad Battle of the Badges charity hockey game. It benefits, obviously, Dartmouth Hitchcock, the Chad. And this is a awesome game. It's right up at the SNU Arena. The date is March 25th at 3 p.m. Tickets are $10. Kids 5 and under are free. I usually attend every year myself. It's a great event. They put on a great show. It's a good hockey game. They take it serious for a charitable game. So it's New Hampshire police. Could be officers from all over the state, and same thing, firefighters all over New Hampshire come down, and it's a great cause. So if you're interested, March 25th at 3 p.m.
I would call it a very spirited game because typically the police and fire don't always like each other. Obviously, we have to side with the blue, these guys. But I definitely want to give a special shout out to firefighter Plord, who you have to raise a minimum of $2,500 to play in this game. So shout out to firefighter Plord for Merrimack Fire, because he actually raised the money. He's actually going to skate representing Merrimack Fire. So we may give him an occasional cheer during that game.
So if anybody's interested, there you go. Check it out. You can go on Chad Hockey. I didn't see it down here. chadhockey.org, and I'm sure you can buy your tickets online, or you can get them at the door.
Played at the SNU Arena in Manchester, the old Verizon.
The old Verizon building, SNU Arena. So another great event to come out and support one of our local firemen. Exciting event. Another exciting event coming up is the Merrimack Crime Line 10th annual magic show. I'll hold this up here so you can get all the information off it. It's April 14th, and it's at the American Legion, right up past Lisa Tippy Toes, right past the police department. And it goes from 10 to 2. This is the 10th year of doing the magic show, and all the proceeds go to the Merrimack PD canine program. So this year, all the proceeds will go to Dallas, our current canine. If you didn't know, Gunny has been retired, so I think he's down in the Bahamas sitting on the beach. And now Dallas has taken over the reins, and we have a new handler. Officer Wallen is Dallas's new handler, so he'll be at this event, and he'll be doing some demonstrations with Dallas. So please come on out. It's a great family event, obviously geared for kids. It's $5 per person, $2.50 for kids under 12 or 12 and under, and it's capped at $15 per family. So if you have a large family, with 4 or 5 kids, it's capped at $15 for the donation. It's the Granite State musicians. They come and they put on some great magic shows for the kids. They do demonstrations, I believe, every 20 minutes or 15 minutes, and they get the kids involved. It's a great event. It's from 10 to 2, and that is April 14th. So if you go, you might even see me as a guest of honor. No, I usually attend that. It's a great event. Please come out. Merrimack Crime Line has been a super group that, actually they got the K9 program up and running. They were like the, largest donation to purchase Gunny in the beginning, and the town had zero money in the budget for it. So great event. Please come out, help the cause, and meet Officer Wallen in Dallas, our new canine. Also, we have, with spring, these warm days, I don't know about you, but I've seen and heard a lot of motorcycles on the road already. So I wanted to bring this sticker, if everybody can see that. I know our mindset, over the winter, we're not looking for motorcycles on the road. So with everybody being busy and distracted, and please start thinking that, warm weather, the motorcycles are coming out, and take that extra look and make sure that motorcycle isn't on the road, because every year we do have motorcycle accidents, and people say, I didn't even see them, I wasn't even thinking, they'd be on the road. So be cautious and be aware. We do have a lot of motorcycles on the road in New Hampshire. And with that said, our kids will be out on bicycles. They like to ride to school. So I brought this brochure, the New Hampshire laws on safety for guidelines for bikes. There is a law that kids 16 and under must wear a helmet when they're riding on the roadway. So please, help us enforce that, because there's nothing more important than your kids, and especially there's nothing more important than keeping their brain safe. So actually New Hampshire does have a bicycle helmet law. Unlike the motorcycle, we don't have a helmet law for adults on there. We do have, they must wear a helmet 18 and under on a motorcycle, but 16 and under on a bicycle. So make sure your kids have a helmet. All right. So I think we got everything. I just have another thing to bring out. March 23rd, my program that I do over at JMU's, it's called the PAC program. It's the old DARE program. So the new program is called PAC, P-A-C-T. which stands for Police and Children Together. So we do a little benefit, a little fundraiser for my program, and we do a basketball game. So it's MPD versus the JMU staff. So this is 5th and 6th graders. The program is geared to 5th graders. So we do a fun basketball game. We play the staff with all the kids in the stands cheering. It's kind of funny because, they all know me, so they really don't know who to cheer for. They end up cheering for both the PD and the JMU staff, so it's pretty fun to watch. It's exciting for the kids. And what we do leading up to the game is Mr. Grenier, he does the knockout game. So leading up to the big event, he gets a boy and a girl from each class. Whoever wins the knockout game in the gym class, they get invited to the main event at halftime at our basketball game. And they have a big knockout competition, and we give prizes for the winners, for the girls and the boys at halftime. So we integrate them into the the activity too. So it's not just us playing the game. We get the kids involved in the halftime show, which is really cool. So this is open to the public. It's not just for us and JMU's. Please come out. The admission is $1. So if you want to come out and support the program or support us or the school and the kids, it's March 23rd at 6 o'clock. So it's Friday night, March 23rd, 6 o'clock at the Smith Gym. That's the gym at JMU's. So, all right. You guys have anything else you want to add?
No.
No? All right. Haley?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. So, thank you for watching. This has been a great show. I really thank you guys for coming on. It's kind of boring with just me doing it. So I appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you, and we'll see you next month.
Glad to be here.